Alright, so in today's video I'm going to show you a fight I got into with a group of neutral pilots. I believe they were mostly from, it was a mix of CAS and one war target. Basically it was a 1v4 fight, my Jackdaw versus their small gang, and yeah, it was a pretty interesting fight. So I'm gonna actually let me skip ahead here. So I was poking around in Alpharena here. I see that there's a handful of war targets and uh, suspects in local, and I saw them chatting, talking about some fight they just had. So I'm I roamed up this way looking for fights, and here I happen to get some. So I undocked from the Citadel and I warped to the gate. I see here that a war target just jumped through the gate, and there's a suspect Thrasher sitting here as well. This Thrasher is a part of the group that I saw in here just now, so I'm fairly confident that they've all jumped through the gate. So I jumped through as well. I figure I saw 3, 4 people, so I might be able to fight 3 or 4 people. So I'm on the other side now. Um, I immediately check local. I see that, as I suspected, the 3 suspects are here, and so kind of tallying them, I know right now, I know there's a Thrasher on the other side coming in, and there's an Atron here. I don't know what the other 2 ships are yet, but I figure it's probably a frigate Desi gang, so probably frigates. I'm leaning more towards that. So I see, you can tell here that the Atron's already decloaked and he's reapproaching the gate. That means that they want a fight. So I do the same, because I also want to fight. I lock him up, he's locked me up already, and he engages me before I engage him. I also see that the Punisher has decloaked on the other side of the gate, 24 kilometers away. So right now, the Atron is the only thing I can really engage, and I know, again, that there's up to 4 targets here, 4 or 5 targets, so I want to clear targets off field as quickly as possible. One thing you'll notice here is that my invuln is heated. That was a decision I made early on because I figured I would be tanking a lot of their damage up front. It doesn't matter so much with the Atron, but it will matter in a little bit here. So now the Thrasher and the War Target Incursus decloak. As far as targeting priority, so I've killed the Atron. My next target is going to be the Thrasher because he'll be pushing out the most DPS, presumably, of these ships. The Punishers are just kind of meh, and the Incursus is, a blaster boat. So with those 2 ships, well, with him 24 kilometers away as well, right now the Punisher and the Thrasher are the biggest threats, and the Thrasher is a destroyer. The others are frigates. So clear the destroyer off first. It's got similar effective hit points, but higher damage. So I kill the Atron. I go for the Thrasher. Now uh, I make a mistake here by not firing sooner. Like I could have gotten a couple of cycles off with my rockets a little bit there, and so he lives a little longer and takes a little more of my health away. So now that the Thrasher's down, I'm forced to make a decision. There's still 2 targets on field. I'm really low, but so this is not a tough decision. There's 2 tanky frigates, the Incursus and the Punisher. The Incursuses are typically active tanked due to their bonus, but ancillary active tanked or some crazy dual rep, some crazy fits. The Punishers are usually brick tanked because of their passive resists. So my goal right now, if I want to survive at all, is to clear as much damage off field as possible to increase my chances of survival. So I go for the target that is easier for me to kill off, which is going to be the active tanked ship. I know with a brick tanked ship that it is going to take me forever to kill. I There's the chance though with an active tanked ship that they'll mess something up, they'll misplay something. So I start willing him away. It turns out he was actually buffer fit as well. Uh, some terrible dual 200 millimeter plate fit. But anyways, I focus on burning him down. Um, you'll notice that I've had my rockets heated pretty much the entire time during this fight. I make a I make several mistakes here. So I'm already super low, and this Punisher again is going to take a while to get through. So what I should have done, you'll see me kind of correct for my mistakes here, but what I should have immediately done is double clicked away and switched to speed mode. I switched to defense mode, which serves literally no purpose right now, but it was kind of a panic, like, help, save me, please, sort of thing. You'll also see that I'm not. So right now, I'm making mistakes because I'm panicking in the game. Like I'm like, holy crap! I just 1v3 those guys. I need to get out of here so I can tell the story of my success, right? Um, so my mindset, what went through my head, if I remember correctly, was if I can just get away from him, I can disengage and I'll be able to de-aggress or something stupid like that. So rather than here, I'm gonna double back a little bit. Rather than Okay, so what I should have done was double clicked away from him, turned on my double clicked away from him, turned on my speed mode, and just tried to pull range by webbing him and DPSing him and scramming him. Right. Uh, that would have mitigated his damage by pulling range because he's a frigate and frigate weapons, especially the DPS weapons, higher DPS weapons have shorter ranges. I would have reduced the amount of incoming DPS. I would have actually started whittling him down, and I wouldn't have looked like a big baby or something. I don't know. So anyways, I'm just going to play through this bit again. I approached him at one point, but then I realized my mistake. I double click away, switched to defense mode for whatever reason. Um, speed mode here. Uh, so my plan does work. You'll see the volleys from his. So he is a blaster fit Punisher, and so I am mitigating his damage now to a certain extent. To just he's still hitting me, and it hurts. Down to 16% structure here. Now, what happens here, though, or what happened here, like 10 seconds ago, is I actually had a blue show up in system and start fighting the Punisher as well. And he's currently on the Punisher, which is good because I accidentally burnt out my rockets here. So I actually didn't realize until just now in the fight that he was there. So I zoomed out and saw him engaging him right there, and I was happy. So I finally turn on my micro warp drive, start pulling away because I'm currently suspect. There's always the chance that Blues might have their overviews screwed up, and he might have tried shooting at me as well. But he doesn't pursue me, so I check him out a little bit. He's been playing since January, flying a Griffin Navy issue. That's cool. Yada yada. So I give him the benefit of the doubt, and I go start looting the field with him, and that's pretty much the end of the fight. So I think I played the beginning of the fight pretty well by selecting my targets and um, killing things off as quickly as possible. But there were some things retroactively that or looking back, that I think I could have done better. They were one of the key things was actually maintaining range to help mitigate incoming DPS. So a lot of those ships were blaster ships. If I had pulled range at all, I would have prevented them from doing a lot of damage to me. It also would have helped with disengageability. If I had been orbiting that Punisher at 7,500 meters instead of 0, I give him a bit of a donation there. If I'd been orbiting the Punisher, orbiting them at some sort of range at all, I would have been able to mitigate their DPS. I would have been able to disengage if things start going south for me. All sorts of stuff. So that's the first point. Second point, I needed to fully commit to the fight. Specifically, the Punisher bit at the end there. Not webbing him almost got me killed. Not shooting at him, it didn't really make that much of a difference, especially since I did the dumb thing and burnt out my launchers. But just not fighting him was just, whatever. I should have just fought him, gotten over with. Fought him well, fought him correctly, pulled range and killed him from a distance, but still fought him. And the last point, this is specific to the ship I was flying. I need to manage my T3D modes better. I'm gonna play back the fight once more, and just trying to find my spot here. I'm gonna play back the fight once more, and we can watch me uh, kind of tinker around with the T3D modes here. So preheat the invuln, lock up the Atron and approach it. Rockets and invuln are on. So right now I switched, so I was in speed mode, which is my general navigation mode. I switched to a sharpshooter to increase my overall DPS to try to burn him down as quickly as possible. Right here, the Thrasher is 15 kilometers away from me. I won't be able to hit him. Actually, I think I could hit him in sharpshooter mode. So that's a mistake right there. I could have just shot at him from this range, but I wait until I have him locked up, until I have him scrammed and webbed to shoot him. So that was a mistake right there. So I switched to defense mode while I'm deciding between these two. When I go on the Incursus, I stay in defense mode, and I switch to sharpshooter mode when I get to low shields and when I decide to just burn the Incursus down. I try to make the most of my shields by being in defense mode, but at this point it's pretty much a moot point. So from here on, I should have just stayed in sharpshooter or prop mode. Specifically, I should have been in prop mode, as I pointed out multiple times. But uh, regardless, I still got out alive. It just required this hero to show up and save me. So, uh, so yeah, that was a 1v4 that turned into a 2v4 sort of at the end, and it was a blast. Um, Hopefully, you'll be able to get some kind of fights like this. Hopefully, you learned something. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.